acrobatic and new circus of our learners. This is primarily this called SANCA, the School of New Circus Arts, or Acrobatics and New Circus Arts, thank you. My name is Gabrielle Moore. I'm the Arts Engagement Associate here at the Rep. I use she, her pronouns, and I'm honored to moderate this panel for you all. So we're going to get started, and we are live streaming. We have our amazing Vita on the chat, and David on camera, so thank you so much for your support. And so be sure to like on there too, and we'll get some questions from the chat later, and then from the audience as well. So we're going to start off real quick with our panelists, just introducing yourselves, how you got into circus performance, and your initial thoughts and reactions to the show we just saw.
Hi, I'm Cara Zhang. I'm in the Celestial Circus Youth Performance Group at SANCA. I started doing circus maybe 5 or 6 years ago. I started with a summer camp at SANCA, which is like a week-long summer camp, and then I just kept taking classes, and then got asked to be in their brand new youth performance group. And I really enjoyed the show. I thought it was so immersive. It was so visually interesting with all of their different individual stories within the acts.
Hi, I'm Josie. I've been doing circus at SANCA in Circus for about, oh gosh. I've been doing circus for like 13 years. I started when I was 3, and I'm 17 now, so kind of a long time. I'm feeling super inspired by the show. Like watching them and watching the dynamic movement that they all like incorporated together and how their bodies move together just really like inspired me to do that in my shows in the future. So.
I'm Mo. I use she, her pronouns. I also started when I was really young, 5 or 6 years old, and I started performing less than a year after I started doing circus. And just kind of always been a part of my life. And I definitely agree that I'm going to be taking inspiration from this show and trying to incorporate all the things that I saw into my own performances in the future.
Hi, I'm Rowan. I got into circus when I was 4 or 5, so I've been doing it for over a decade. I'm also part of the Celestials Circus group. This show is very inspiring to me, so I want to start doing more things the way they did it.
Thank you all. Appreciate those answers. And for those who attended, can you tell us more about the workshop you did with the Seven Fingers, who were the creators of the show we just saw? I think you got a very intimate workshop, and they just tell us what you learned from them.
Yeah, so I attended the workshop on Tuesday. We had 2 performers and then 3 of the creators of the performance. And we did some tumbling, aerial, juggling. I would say I learned the most from Santiago in the juggling part of the workshop, because I do not do juggling, but he helped me improve a lot within the short time.
I got to attend. I didn't get to do anything because I'm recovering from a concussion, but I watched everyone like work with the performers. It was just like an amazing experience to like not only be coached by like these amazing performers, but just like get to know them more personally. Like I feel like when I got to watch the show with this like new perspective that I got to see it from a different light. If that makes sense, because I knew them and I knew them as people, not only as performers. Because when you perform, it's like you're only there for the audience, but then when the audience knows you, it feels better. So I don't know. That was good.
I was also at the workshop, and Santiago's juggling was also definitely my favorite. Just like looking at things that we do every day in a different way, or from somebody who's trained more professionally than we have, and for longer. It's cool to get that different perspective.
I didn't attend the workshop, but I wish I was able to.
Thank you. Sounds so cool. Santiago is so nice. So it sounds like you all start pretty young. So and now you're in your teens and being young adults, why do you keep doing it? Why is the passion still there, or the love for the craft?
For me, I love to break acts and work in a team, and be able to show my passion and all of the things that I've learned in my years of doing circus and share them with an audience on stage. It's my favorite to be able to really practice and get it down so I can feel really confident on stage.
Yeah, I feel like circus and just like being in a troupe and being in like a performance setting has taught me and morphed my entire life. Like it's not only like taught me how to push past my own fear for like multiple different aspects of my life, but also just taught me how to perform and be a good friend and troupe member. So like, I just think it's great and awesome. That's why I keep doing it.
I love to move my body, and not all sports are good for that, but I feel like circus can be for any person that wants to. I also coach people who are learning how to do circus for the first time, and still, like, they're excited just to do things that I get to do every day, but I'm excited to do things that other people get to do every day that are, like, in my future to be able to do, and there's just always something to push for and keep working towards.
Something that keeps me coming back is the adaptability of circus. You can, anyone can do it, no matter how young or old they are, or how much experience they have with it. So being able to grow and self-lead, the growth is really meaningful to me.
Thank you all. I appreciate those answers. What would you say right now is your strongest circ skill, and what are you still wanting to learn more about and improve upon?
I would say that I practice mostly like acrobatics, or I do a lot of dance. So those are my strongest skills. The things that I don't practice as much and would maybe like to improve on are like object manipulation, like juggling, or I don't do aerial very much, but I would like to perhaps.
Something that I think that I'm getting better at is juggling, for sure. I used to struggle so much with it, and it was like, I like cried so much trying to learn how to do it because it was so hard. And it's like, you either have it or you don't have it, and then like the growth to getting it is so hard. But I think I'm getting better, and I want to continue to expand my juggling and just like keep practicing aerial and getting back into contortion as well.
Definitely my strengths are hat juggling and aerial sling are my two favorite things to work on independently. I definitely want to get better at my club passing, because I think there's a lot of fun ways to work with other people and make up new patterns that nobody's done before.
I'm primarily an aerialist, so I do aerial silks, but I really would like to get into more club passing as well.
Thanks for showing us we're lifelong learners on this craft. And if someone wanted to get into this for the first time, what advice would you give them?
I would say that taking classes is like one of the easiest ways to get in, and like Rowan was saying earlier, it's available for anyone to do, for any ages, for all skill levels. Just keep trying, and if you like it, then just keep going at it, and if you don't, then you don't, that's okay.
I think just going into any class, like, with the expectation that you're going to be pushed past your comfort zone. Like, you're not going to go into a circus class and be able to do everything that you want to do, because there's always growth. Like, I've been doing it for 13 years and I'm still growing, and I'm still, like, I need to achieve the new thing. It's not going to be something super easy, so being able to push past, like, your fear and your comfort and just, like, where you live, and just, like, expanding that a little bit each time you come. Something that helped me a lot.
I definitely agree with being willing to try new things. I had a student this morning who did a forward roll for the first time, and other people in our class had taken tons of tumbling, but she was just super excited because she got to do a forward roll, and just being excited with all the little things that you personally do and not comparing it to what you see other people doing is really important.
I'd say don't hesitate. If you're considering it, just try it. if you don't like it, you don't need to continue. It's not a huge commitment, but you're probably gonna enjoy it.
Okay, awesome. And now we can take any questions from the live stream or the audience. If there's any queries on anyone's mind about what it's like to start training so young in this field.
For the ones who aren't young,
Yes.
so you said take classes like, where would you take classes? Like in the school of that, or
Yeah, where would you take classes?
as an older person?
So we all train at SANCA, which is the School of Acrobatics and New Circus Arts in Georgetown. And we offer classes from like babies to older people. So it's like we have a whole range of classes for anyone to take.
Yeah, you could go to sancaseattle.org and just sign up for a class.
Yeah, I think there's also the Emerald City Trapeze Room as a partner of yours, so a little closer to town too. Yeah. Any other questions? Yes, back here.
If you want to do circus, do you have to perform it?
If you want to do circus, do you have to perform it?
No. I know plenty of people that just do circus for fun and never want to put anything on stage and are scared just to go on a stage with no audience. So it's definitely not something you need to be able to put on stage just doing it for yourself. Lots of people do that.
Awesome, thank you. I know, it's fun to have hobbies that are just for you. Yeah. Anyone else have any questions? Yes, back there.
If you've never done any sort of activity before, would you say circus is a good place to start, or can you start at circus?
So if you've never done anything like circus before, maybe start in it.
I would say if you took like a beginner entry level class, it is like a lot of our coaches can accommodate to whatever skill level you're at. If you've never done any sort of stretching, any sort of cardio, we got you. It's okay.
Yeah, you can also do like parties, like you could book a party and go with your friends and go and just like have like a day, it's a day, right? Like a day party, and you just get to try every little bit of circus. And then we also have flying trapeze, which is like, anyone knows what that is, but it's like a static trapeze like in the show, but it swings back and forth and it's super fun, and there's parties for that too, so that's a good way to start.
Awesome. Do you have any other audience or live stream questions?
No questions from the live stream yet, but we do have Adrian Vixen commenting and saying, I just want to say that these young people are very impressive and well spoken.
You don't have to think about this yet because you're very young, but have you ever thought about getting into a troupe like the Seven Fingers, or do you see your career path headed another way?
For me personally, I started dancing before I started doing circus, so if I were to ever take a performance arts route in my career, it would most likely veer towards a more dancing career than circus. That's me personally.
I definitely like didn't really think about it that much. I've thought about it a lot, but like not set on it yet. But watching this show today, like I don't know, it's just so dynamic and so like it's like a great way to build a community. And I just like I don't know, I'm considering it more maybe.
Well, I'm a senior in high school, so right now is the college application time, and looking at circus schools near the college I'm going to is definitely an important part, and it's going to stay an important part of my life, hopefully for the rest of my life. I don't see myself only doing circus for the rest of my life, but it's definitely never going to leave.
Yeah.
I've definitely thought about it a lot. I don't know, like, logistically how it would work out, but I definitely like to continue to pursue it professionally.
Thank you all. All right, do we have any other last questions? Yes, right here.
How do you see circus impacting other parts of your life?
How do you see the circus impacting other parts of your life?
mentioning earlier, really providing confidence to other areas of my life. I've actually done a couple different panels for Circus, and I think it's one of the reasons why I've become so well-spoken in audiences. So I think just providing a level of confidence in me.
Also, like, we're training with the same group of kids. Like, I've been with these same group of kids since I was 5. And just, like, watching these people grow up and watching them, like, morph into the people they are today, like, has shown me so much about, like, everybody individually. And I think it's helped me mature in a lot of ways that, like, I'm so lucky that I get to do.
It definitely impacts social life. Like, I don't go and hang out with my friends from school. I go to Circus after school and hang out with my friends at Circus. But that works for me, and it's created this community where I can be safe and be myself all the time. And yeah.
On top of the community that they were all mentioning, it also lets you improve yourself. It lets you have more awareness of your body and your mind. So that's also something that impacts you in other areas of your life.
Thank you all. Appreciate that. Any shows or anything you want to plug real quickly?
SAS.
What is SAS?
What's the acronym?
SANCA's annual showcase spectacular.
It's going to be at ECTA, Emerald City Trapeze Arts. Yes, if you want to come.
Well, what is it?
SAS is a student and staff showcase that SANCA and now Emerald City Trapeze puts on every year that gives a chance for both seasoned and new performers. I know there's a lot of people that use it just to try performing and putting on their skills that they've been learning for the first time, and there's some people like us that have been performing for a decade and get to just have a stage to put their acts on. So it's definitely a wide range of skills that you get to see on stage, which is really fun about the show.
Cool. And then when is it?
It's at the end of November. I don't
November 17th through the 19th.
November 17th through the 19th.
I don't think tickets are on sale yet, but they should be soon.
Awesome, thank you.
At SANCA Seattle.
Yes, Josie coming in. And then I think we have a live stream comment.
Yes, we had a question from Elliot Rain, and this may have been answered before, but I would love to hear, what was each person's first experience with Circus like watching?
The first time that you saw it before you were a performer.
I think that the first time I saw it was at one of the SASs before I even did the summer camp that I first did, which introduced me to Circus, and I just remember being so in awe of what they were able to do and imagining myself being able to do what they were doing on stage, which I do get to do now.
I think I was 2 when I watched my first circus show, and I just remember, like, okay, I don't actually remember it, but I remember hearing this story, like, multiple times. I was sitting there next to my mom, and I watched this clown come on stage, and it was like, oh my gosh. I was like, Mom, I need to do that. I need to do that. And she was like, okay, like, I have no idea how to get you signed up for this. Like, how do you become a clown? And so our neighbors, like, knew Circus, SANCA, because it was a SANCA show. So we signed up for classes as I was a kid, and I went to go talk to the clown because he was practicing at SANCA one day. And I was like, how do I become a clown? And he was like, well, you have to get good at everything first. And so here I am now, not a clown, but like, I found everything else that I love, and it makes me so happy.
I don't really remember the first circus show I saw. My first circus memory was being on stage. But I do remember when I was smaller in the youngest performance troupe watching the performance troupe that I'm in now, and I remember just always constantly wanting to impress them and be them. And it's really cool being that person in the older troupes that gets to inspire those younger kids. So that's definitely one of my earlier circus memories.
I actually started doing circus before I saw a circus show. A family friend did it, and I was like, I want to do that too. And yeah, so I think one of the first circus shows I saw was full-time by Cirque du Soleil.
Awesome. Any other comments from the live stream? Okay, I see we have audience members back here. Yes. Whoever wants to go next.
If somebody wants to start performing circus but doesn't feel confident in their skills, what would you say to them?
How to gain some confidence before even stepping into the school.
I think if you are like taking classes and you want to take a step up into performing, just really assessing why you want to get into performing, and then probably getting into contact with, for example, at SANCA, like the coaches that are heads of our youth performance groups, and asking them like, what do I need to do to prepare myself to try and get into your groups? And you probably do have the skills necessary to be performing.
Yeah, just like don't doubt yourself. Like you got this. Just go on stage, be yourself. It's easier to say than to do, but like just like SAS is like a great example. Like there's so many opportunities like around SANCA and around ECTA where like you can submit an act or you can try performing for the first time. It's just like an incredible experience.
As far as skill level goes, I've seen plenty of performances that are like the 3 basic skills that you learn in your first circus class. And it doesn't really matter what you put on stage, just that you're on stage, especially as a beginner, is really the hardest part. But as long as you have something, the audience is going to clap for you. So.
To add to that, just if you want to be there, then the audience will know you want to be there. Even if you don't have very many tricks, you look like you want to be there. You look like you're having fun. So it's a good act.
Awesome, and then we had our last question back here.
What are some pros or cons of starting circus?
What are the pros and cons of learning circ skills?
I would say one of the pros is like getting to know your body, getting to be in control of your body. And circus is so diverse in the way that you move your body that it really helps with other sports that you want to do. For example, I started golfing, and circus surprisingly really helps with the movements that you do when you golf, which I had no idea.
Another pro is, like I feel like we said everything that's great about it. Community, like strength, like physical strength, mental strength. A con is that you're sore a lot. Like there's days where I'm like, I have to walk up 4 flights of stairs at school, and I'm like hyperventilating by the end of it. It's just like your muscles are getting so strong, but like you're consistently sore and practicing again. But there's like, you can roll out, you can use tiger bone. There's so many things you can do.
Also, same pros as you've been saying, community, strength, both physical and mental. And learning your limitations is definitely an important thing that circus teaches you that not all sports does, because we're such a welcoming community.
When I try to think of cons of doing circus, I can't think of anything. Like, yeah, you're sore, but that's part of the fun.
Yeah.
Being sore isn't inherently a bad thing. It means you're growing.
All right, so do it, circus. Okay, we got like one last one. Let's do it.
What are some of those first skills that you learned in a basic circus class?
What are the basic skills to grow upon in circus?
I think entry-level skills are like a forward roll, right? A backwards roll. Can go down the line.
I coach camp, and like the first thing that all the kids learn on the fabric is a straddle back. So basically you tie a knot in the bottom of the fabric so it looks like kind of like a sling, and you just let your legs go and your arms up. Like it's like there's so many variations, and then that can take you into so many other things. Like you learn the basics so that you can grow on them, you know.
Yeah, I also teach kids and adult basic circus classes and forward rolls, cartwheels, just bouncing on the trampoline and learning new position jumps is something that we do a lot in the beginner classes. And some people in the first class are able to do a knee hang on the trapeze and let go, and even get a couple of climbs in on the fabric just in the first class?
Well, when you're doing a class, the very, very first thing you do is you warm up, so you'll run around and you'll do jumping jacks, things like that. So you won't go straight into the tricks right away, but they'll happen pretty quickly.
And do you have any last comments on the live stream?
Yes, I have one more comment. Elliot Wayne says, I'm really enjoying the joy in these memories.
That's so sweet.
Another person actually had said to Soul Life, had said, this is giving me flashbacks of picking handkerchiefs out of the air to practice juggling. And I had said, I actually even find that challenging. Any tips for anyone who finds handkerchiefs challenging?
Yeah, I know you said you're still working on juggling, so keep going.
Keep going at it. Keep practicing. If it gets away from you, you just have to stand against a wall, make sure it doesn't get away from you, and just keep practicing.
It's okay to cry.
Handkerchiefs. Start with one ball. I feel like balls are easier to juggle than handkerchiefs.
I agree with that.
We are getting the pro tips here. Oh my gosh. Well, I want to thank you all so much for being here for this panel and attending the show. It's such an honor. And we have so many youth education here at the rep as well that will help you improve your acting skills. We have the next narrative monologue competition coming up in January. So the winners of that competition go to New York for free to compete on the Apollo stage. So there's a lot of cool opportunities if you want to get into acting a little bit more. For others to get into the circle a little bit more. So round of applause for our amazing panel. Our live stream will keep going, so please come talk to Vita. Vita's so nice, and talk more about the show we just saw on the panel. Thank you all so much. Hi, are we doing it on the
I believe so. I think there's a shot here, and so I'm sure maybe we can direct folks. But thank you all so much for being here. I'm not sure if I'm in the shot right now, but
yeah, which camera is
I
it?
guess I could see. But thank you so much for being a part of the panel today, and also being part of the live stream. This is a little bit new. Yeah, hey, we got some microphones. We've got audio. Oh my goodness. So we're kind of figuring this out. I'm actually watching the stream on my phone here a little bit and doing some moderation and things like that. So maybe I'll be able to see myself and whether it's here. But yeah, would y'all like to, I know we did so for the panel, but would you like to introduce yourselves and with your pronouns and maybe a little bit about SANCA and about how you got involved with that?
I started SANCA, I'm Kara Zhang. I use any pronouns. I started SANCA when I was maybe around 11 or 12 years old, and I'm almost 16 now. I started at one of their summer camps, which is just like a week-long summer camp for beginners to take, and then you can take like all of the different things. You like learn all the general circus, and yeah, and then I started performing about 2 or 3 years after I started doing circus. Yeah.
When you first started that, what was like some of the initial ones that drew you?
For me, it was definitely tumbling, since I come from like a dance ballet background, just using my body and not any other apparatuses like a rope or any objects. I think tumbling or partner acro came to me the easiest. Yeah.
Thank you so much. How about yourself?
I'm Josie Shapiro. I got into circus when I was 3 years old, and I'm almost 18. So I've been doing it for a long time. I mostly worked at SANCA, but I went to Versatile Arts for a little bit and specialized in contortion. But that takes a toll on your body, especially when you're growing, going through puberty. Like, my whole spine was being compressed while I was also growing. So, like, I recovered from a major back injury around, like, 2019 during COVID. And then I have recently gotten more into like aerial arts and juggling as well. So, yeah.
Wonderful. Thank you for sharing that.
I'm Mo. I use she, her pronouns. I started doing circus when I was 5 or 6 years old and started performing less than a year after I started doing circus. Yeah, I don't know what else to say.
What is that like learning versus performing? Performing seems like it might be an entirely different bag.
Yeah, so when I'm training on my own or when I'm training not doing rehearsals, it's more about conditioning and strengthening and working on skills. We do both sides when we're doing tricks, but when we're doing rehearsals, it's more sitting around and choreographing and less working specifically on strength and conditioning and skills. And you spend a lot more of your time focusing on the tiny little details instead of focusing on the bigger picture of just doing the trick. You're focusing on the tiny details of what are my hands doing in this specific moment. So there's a big difference with that.
Thank you for saying that. How about yourself?
I'm Rowan. I'm 16 tomorrow. I use he, him pronouns. I started circus when I was 4 or 5. And started performing 2018 or 2019.
Wow, that's amazing. And you got a chance to see the show today. What were your thoughts and impressions?
I loved the show. I thought that it was so immersive. They used many different mediums, not just circus. They had singing, like acting. Specifically, I thought that was a really interesting and unique thing that I hadn't seen in many other shows. I also liked how in their group pieces they had like individual stories that made it really dynamic. Almost like, in my head, it almost looked like a collage of individual stories. Yeah.
So me and Mo are in a group called Circus, and so at the end of like every season or whatever, we get to create a Circus show. Basically, our whole troupe puts on a show sort of like the same as they just did. And something that's really interesting is like during each act, they had everyone on stage, if not all, most of the troupe was on stage with them, creating more of a story with the act. And I feel like a lot of the times, like we have it so set in our heads that when we perform, it's our act and we're the ones on stage. And so like seeing that like immersive quality with like how they added to the piece but didn't subtract anything was just super interesting and like created that dynamic feeling as well.
Thank you. Could you spell that for our like live streaming audience? Sometimes things spoken aloud, you don't always know how to spell them. Could you spell that for us?
Cirrus?
Yeah.
SCIRRUS? Great.
I'm glad I asked. Thank you.
I also really enjoyed the show, and I definitely agree with everything that everybody else has said so far. It is like what Josie was saying, that whenever we do performances and whenever I watch performances, there's one act and you're watching that act and it's more of a cabaret style. Even if there's a through line and a story that goes throughout the whole show, each individual act is by itself and tells its own story on the side of this bigger story. But I really enjoyed how in this show there was a through line and a theme, but it kept going even throughout the acts, and it didn't just stop in the middle of the acts, and it made it feel like more one larger story instead of lots of individual ones. And I also definitely enjoyed the little bits that you could see in the character development and individual people behind the scenes of the acts while the acts were happening. And I know that there's so much I missed, and I know if I watched the show a million times, I would still miss so much individual development of the show.
Well, it's important to see it multiple times then. How about yourselves?
I found it fascinating how each act or each section of the show had its own storyline while still contributing to the overall storyline. I found it really neat how they were able to go into a zoom in sort of and have a storyline even just within an act.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. I really appreciate all of y'all's time, so I won't keep you much longer. But was there any act that you saw today or as part of the show that you were particularly inspired to try or to get more involved in?
I think that what inspired me the most or what touched me the most in the act was definitely the opening scene with how much was going on. I think is something that I think our group, Celestial Circus, could try, having a lot more going on. And also what inspired me was the more like theater pieces, the more acting pieces definitely made me really teary-eyed when it was less circus and more just the performers speaking to the audience. Yeah.
Wonderful.
I definitely saw the fabric act and I was like, what? And I don't know, because I feel like I've done fabric for conditioning. I've climbed it multiple times, over and over, just trying to get the aerial strength, but I've never really played around with it like how she did. And I was like, that's so interesting and so cool. So I want to get into that a little more.
I also really enjoyed the speaking on stage. It's always something that I've wanted to do. It's difficult, and we don't do it a lot as circus performers, but it's something that I want to try incorporating in the future.
Public speaking is not easy.
Yeah, sort of like what Cara mentioned in the opening act and other acts throughout. I was finding myself looking between different parts of the stage because there's different things happening in different places that are related but not related as well. Normally when we'll do a show, we'll have like a spotlight basically. So the people around, they could be doing a little bit, but they're not doing their own thing, if that makes sense.
It was organized chaos, but it was so cool.
That sounds so amazing. I love that. Well, thank you again for everybody. Was there any last comments or anything you wanted to share about the show or about what you do, or a shout out to another organization? You mentioned SANCA. There was also the Circus Arts one that you had mentioned, as well as a one that you had said does more contortionists and things like that.
ECTA, so that's Emerald City Trapeze Arts. That's another part of SANCA, but a little bit closer to downtown. So it's yeah.
Lovely, and they have more adult classes as well, right?
I do pole dancing for 18 and up too.
Wonderful, thank you so much. Thank you all. Thank all of you for being here and for a part of the live stream and the part of the panel and everything. So hope you all enjoy the rest of your day. Appreciate it.
And then we'll have Nick just do any last SANCA comments, as Nick is the head of
yeah. Wonderful. Yeah, would you like to introduce yourself for our live stream audience?
Yeah, I'm Nick. I coach most of these kids. Down here we have Felix, my son, a young circus artist. I work at SANCA, the School of Acrobatics and New Circus Arts. We are super happy to be a part of, or to be joining the Seven Fingers here at the Seattle Rep. Big thanks to both the Seven Fingers and Seattle Rep. You can find out more about SANCA at sancaseattle.org, SANCA Seattle.org. We've got our schedule. You can sign up for classes there. We offer classes for kids age 2 on up. We have lots of scholarship and work study opportunities. And if you liked what you saw here today, check us out. We also have our facility at Emerald City Trapeze. They've got lots of fun classes there too. Thanks.
How did you like the show today? Was there any things that you're going to be taking from the show back to SANCA?
For sure. I am sure that I've got a group of 10 students who are going to want to try everything that they saw here today. But I loved the show. All the ensemble work is just incredible.
Yeah, it is an amazing show. Was there a favorite part of yours?
The juggling has a piece of my heart, and the finale made me cry.
Thank you so much. And do you perform as well as teach?
Yes, I do. I perform a unicycle act with my wife. We do partner acrobatics and unicycle. We put this guy up on my shoulders, and I juggle hats.
Oh my gosh, that sounds like so much fun.
It's a lot of fun.
Where can we follow you and SANCA and any other things you want to shout out?
Yeah, I am on social media. Unicycle for Two is my handle on everything. And you can find SANCA on all the social media. Again, that's SANCA and SANCASeattle.org.
Wonderful, thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Would your little one like to share any thoughts about what you do or about the show?
Do you want to say anything about the show? No.
That's all right.
No.
Well, thank you for bearing with us. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
Wonderful. Great. Gabrielle, did you want to say anything about the engagement or anything about the event or wrap it up here?
Yeah, hi everyone. Thank you for tuning in. If you did, my name's Gabrielle Moore. I, she, her pronouns. I'm the Arts Engagement Associate here at the Rep. The Arts Engagement team, we love to do a lot of events like this, so we'll always have panels highlighting local voices, especially youth voices, and whatever is reflecting on stage. So always check out what we're doing at seattlerep.org. And this is Passengers is so amazing. I can't believe what people are able to do when they put their minds and bodies fully into their craft. So if you haven't seen it yet, you have till October 15th. It's so incredible. I would not miss it. It's so amazing. And thank you for supporting arts engagement and the arts in general. Your support means everything to us. So thank you for taking the time to highlight these youth voices.
And we're going to be having another live stream not in too far the distant future, right? For the 60th anniversary on November 15th, right?
Yes. So yeah, I can't believe it's been 60 years since Seattle Rep has been a part of our community. So we'll have many different ways we're celebrating that. One way I know of is we're going to have our SRO team share some memories of what it's been like working with the Rep for all those years. And then we'll have some youth voices that we've worked with a lot through the Next Narrative Monologue competition, and they'll be sharing those out. And then I'll be hosting a panel with local artists to talk about what the future of Seattle Rep is like, where we're moving forward in the next 60 years.
Thank you so much, Gabrielle. I appreciate you hosting the panel and allowing them to come and speak with us today and everything like that. So I think we are going to wrap up the live stream here, folks. It was a sort of a short but sweet one, but please do join us again on November 15th. We are going to be having that 60th anniversary live stream and event. I've been calling it a virtual red carpet. I think it's going to be an amazing piece, and I've had so much fun doing this with everyone out there. Please don't forget to like the video. Please subscribe so that you'll get future notifications about things that we're doing. Go check out the website, seattlerep.org. And we didn't really talk too much about the show, but the show that we were talking about, this was a post-show panel, was Passengers, and it is such an amazing show. I saw it opening night, and please go check it out. You've got, and like Gabrielle said, until October 15th to see it, and it's by the group The Seven Fingers, but I believe they're also like a French-Canadian group, right? And so they also go by like, I'm gonna mess up the name, right? It's like Les Seven or Set, right? Doit de la Main, right? But it's The Seven Fingers, and it's so interesting. What a wonderful group, such a talented group of people, and right, it's telling a story as well as showing off all of these amazing pieces. So please go see the show, check out seattlerep.org, and come back and celebrate our 60th anniversary with us November 15th. And blessings, and see y'all later. Take care.